Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first interview building up towards the next Sasol Solar Challenge event. My name is Rob Walker. It's a privilege for me today to be joined by Thomas Laas of Northwest University Solar Car team. Thomas, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning.
No problem. I feel very welcome. Glad to be here.
Fantastic. So, Thomas, before we jump into the team and how's everything going, talk us through your role in the team, what you do, what aspects of the car have you been involved in, a little bit of a history of yourself.
Oh, well, I have been, I started getting involved this year, at the beginning of this year. Actually, no, the end of last year, we really started working. Because of COVID, we had some things there. Well, I'm sure we'll get to that. So I've done actually quite a few things, done a lot of body work, because I'm a mechanical engineer. We do a lot of the actual work on the car. So I've done some body work, body part filling and sanding. I also was in charge of designing the wrap for the car. So that was quite interesting for me. I learned a lot, and with everything that we've been doing, we've been learning a lot. I've been learning a lot, and I've done some designing for certain parts on the car that's small things, but that we design it and then we 3D print it. So yeah, and I'm also part of the media team as I'm on here doing the interview. So a little bit here and there, I'm quite involved at a lot of aspects of the car. So yeah, that's about what I'm in charge of.
Fantastic. And I mean, let's quickly talk about, obviously Northwest has always been quite famous for having a unique shape of their car. The kind of dare I say, we call it the flying wing with the wing at the back. You guys obviously been putting out some interesting stuff. I know at the end of last year you were talking about fundamentally reducing the weight of that structure. We're using some nice materials. Is Northwest still pursuing the same idea with that rotating solar wing, or are you guys heading into a new direction?
Well, no, we are definitely still with the flying wing. I've never heard that name before, but it quite accurately describes it. No, we are very much still working on that. As we, in some of the descriptions on the challenge, I think it was on the Sasol Solar Challenge page, it did say that we recycled the car. So this is not a completely new car. We recycled about 40% of it. So the main body and everything is the same. And we're very proud of that shape, and we are very, want to show how a completely different shape still has the same competitiveness, if not even better. And with regards to the weight loss, yes, we have done quite a significant amount of work on that. So with the wing especially, we're looking at saving about 40% of weight on the wing itself, with some other things going along with the design that is improving certain aspects of the wing, not getting into too much detail. And with the battery pack as well, we have also saved a couple of kilograms. We completely redesigned the battery pack to be a lot more, we're not using wires, and it just looks a lot neater. Everything's a lot more polished, and we're very proud of that. So, but the wing especially is one of the big things that we did change.
Fantastic. And let's talk a little bit about that. Obviously, you guys have had the time in the last year and a half to make things more polished, as you've spoken about. How has the first 4 months of 2021 been for the solar car project? Obviously, COVID's still a reality. How are things gone for you guys there in Northwest? How's the project progressing?
Well, I have to say that I think we are quite lucky, and in that we've been doing things consistently. We haven't really stopped. Obviously, last year we don't have to talk about that. There was a long period of time we could do anything on the car. A lot of work was done in the COVID time, especially with regards to simulations and optimizations. I know the industrial engineering, the School of Industrial Engineering, have done a lot of work on optimization, especially with working out angles of that wing, and when we should put it at a certain angle, when we should save, when we should really use the battery. So a lot of work was done in that aspect, and as well as simulations on, for example, the electric motor that we're using, optimizing that so it works at peak efficiency. So a lot of work was done with that, but the actual physical work really, as you said, only in the first 4 months of 2021 now, we've done a lot of work. We've been very busy. And the great thing is actually and I think that the car lends itself to that. We don't really have to have a lot of people working at once. And so with regards to COVID, and we've worked kind of one-on-one on the car. So one person comes in a day and then he has a certain task that they have to do for that day, and then another person comes in and does their task. So we can't have a lot of people around the car anyways. So that in that sense, we've been lucky to be able to just keep on going, and we haven't really had any major bumps in the road. Just consistently doing everything day to day. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Fantastic. And let's touch on one of your comments you made earlier, which I love, and which is obviously a big part of why we put these events on. You said that you've learned a lot from being part of the Solar Car team, which I think a lot of people miss that aspect. You know, a lot of the time it's about building the car, designing the car, you know, competing with the car. But you've spoken about, you know, the things that you've learned. How do you feel that your participation or your involvement within the Northwest Solar Car team is going to prepare you for a career going forward in whatever field you're going in? I mean, obviously it's been a hands-on learning experience. How do you feel that's impacted on you and your potential career going forward?
Well, firstly, with the career side of things, I found a love for this kind of work, and really, if I can be very honest, this is why I studied engineering. You know, this is why I started doing this. It was from a long time back, from being a child. You know, seeing things being designed and worked on, and finally, without realizing it, I got involved in this project, and it's exactly what I've always wanted to do. We see a problem on the car, and then we kind of discuss it and we work around it, and it's backwards and forwards with ideas, and then finally we do something, and then we just do it, and it's a once-off thing. So with regards to that, it's really cemented my love for engineering and for this kind of research and development process, and going through that, as well as I mean, those are the kind of the soft skills, and then just the more hard skills of actually working with your hands, getting a feel for example, another thing that I learned was with the design process, we design something and then we give it to somebody to manufacture it, and then working with them gives you an idea of what they want. So we as engineers tend to be more designing, and then on the manufacturing side, those don't always come together. So now we have the opportunity to see how those two worlds come together, and just like I said, it gives you an idea of the real world, and going forward, what's going to be necessary to work as a team as well, and especially in the times that we are now, even. We're struggling in certain aspects, but we're still going on. We're just pushing through all the problems. So, I think it really is just a great experience, and like I also said, not only working with building the car, but as well as working on for example, the wrap, the design for that. I just learned so much with aesthetics and how to make something not only function well, but present well, because a lot of people don't care about the technical aspects of it. They see the car, they think, wow, look at this car. It looks, the whole body looks different, but then you know, we see the thing before we want to know how it works. And so all of those things just coming together is amazing to me, and different schools of engineering also working together with industrial and electrical. Even we even have a chemical engineer working on the chemistry of the batteries and how we can work on improving that. So the mingling of this multidisciplinary aspect of it, which is something that has really in recent years developed quite a lot, is I think that's very important as well.
So I think it's really interesting because you touched on two things. I'm going to kind of separate them because I think they're two critical ones. The first one is you as an engineer you came to this as an engineer, somebody who loves to build things, or design things, I should say, where, now you've been pulled into media, you've been pulled into design work. Has this also exposed you to other elements outside of your general focus, which is like maybe ignited an insight or a passion in you for things that you maybe didn't realize that you'd be interested in?
Definitely. With the media aspect, I've always kind of my whole life been involved a little bit in media, some photography and things like that. And I don't know, I've always felt like I've had an eye for something, how to make something look good. But it's one thing to have an idea about what it takes to do, and another thing to actually do it. And if I can talk about something that I didn't really think I would be involved in or like, is this kind of, because the car is composites, carbon fiber and those kind of things, working with resin. And quite interestingly, it does touch on the master's degree that I'm actually working on. And so that was really something that I didn't know I would find interesting. And I'm looking at the world differently now with this kind of idea of making things out of composites and it's not just steel and bolts and nuts and welding. It's glue and figuring out how to incorporate that into any design, as well as the aerodynamics aspect of it. We're finding it interesting how to prepare a surface so that it's aerodynamically efficient, or working on the electrical side of things, which being a mechanical engineer, we don't really look at the electrical aspect. But again, it's the great thing about this car, because we also work, we do work tightly knit, so everybody kind of knows a little bit about everything. And so I'm learning a lot about batteries and how they work and how we're working with the motor and all these kinds of things. So definitely I would say that a lot of passions here and there, some that I'm not even thinking about, do get ignited, and you don't really realize it until you get involved. If I'm being honest, at the beginning, I wasn't really so passionate about the car. But again, once you get started with something, once you really see what it's about, not just from a distance, but being close to it, touching it, it's just it's a mind-blowing experience, and it's life-changing, honestly. And I don't think a lot of people realize, working on a car, how that can change your life. I mean, it's this inanimate object, but yet it invokes all these emotions. And one other thing that I didn't mention is I'm also one of the drivers of the car, and we have done some test driving, and getting into the car and realizing that you've worked on this thing and it's on the road. Obviously, I haven't been here from the very beginning, but just the things that we've done, and you realize you have a part of this, and nobody can take that away from you. So it's very exhilarating, definitely, and we can't wait to get the car on the road again.
Well, that's fantastic, Thomas. I mean, and a lot of what you said, it resonates with us and what we hear from people. So it's great to hear it, kind of reinforced. And the second thing I wanted to touch on, which you mentioned, is, and for me, it's really interesting, is that the international teams have all these multidisciplinary individuals involved in the teams. And I think it's saying that the South African teams have kind of maybe lacked behind a little bit. But you've touched on it, how you guys have a chemical engineer, you have an electrical engineer, you have structural engineers, but you also have, I'm assuming that the team is multifaceted. And I think a lot of time when people see a solar car team, they just think, oh, there's a whole bunch of mechanical engineers there, building a solar car. And yes, often the mechanical engineering department of university is the one who leads the charge, or who brings it in. But I think what you said is so interesting, is how the industrial engineering department, and a successful solar car team, probably, needs accountants, it needs marketing people, it needs logistics, it even needs HR people, because people have meltdowns when their car doesn't work. So I think that's really interesting, and I think it speaks to how Northwest is one of South Africa's most successful teams, is that you guys have obviously evolved to the point now where you do have this multifaceted team, which is really exciting for me, because I know that that's how the international guys do it.
No, I mean, we are really excited about, especially this year. We really feel like we've kind of brought it all together, as you said. If I can touch on the industrial parts, that is definitely an important part of the situation, because this year we obviously we know that there's much more racing going around racetracks this year, especially with some of the other competitions going on this year. So in that sense, the industrial engineering department has felt like, the thing that they want to get involved in has been taken away a little bit. But we're looking forward to the next challenge where you can actually go on the road again, because that's the bread and butter. That's where they analyze the road. I don't even know all of the aspects, but I heard a little bit about how they explain, how they calculate hills and downhill and left and right, and where the sun is and the weather, and so you bring it back to, if you look at Formula One racing, and they also have the strategy for how many laps they go before changing tires and those kinds of things, and we definitely have that with the solar car, but just in another aspect. As I've just mentioned, and yeah, we are definitely work together and bring that all together. I think that's also great about mechanical engineering, and why I love it is that we do touch on each of these things here and there. And if I can speak to how we've done things at the Northwest University in general with the solar car, is that in Afrikaans we have the saying, "A boer maak 'n plan," and a lot of the things that we've done is like that. We don't have for example, the same resources that some of the international teams have. We just don't. And so we really have to count on our engineering skills and design skills and make the most of what we have. And we were proud of that. We're not. We really feel that even though we don't have the budget that some of the major teams have from overseas, we love working with what we have and making the most of it. I'm not sure if there's anything else to that.
No, I think that you've really answered my question. And maybe Thomas, before I let you go, because I see we've been chatting already, it's been 20 minutes. Give us a quick rundown. What do you 2-year goals of the team? I know obviously the team's focusing towards the 2022 Sasol Solar Challenge on the road. What do you see happening in the next 18 months of the team as we head towards September 22?
Well, what we're doing in the meantime is we are finishing up the car, and we're really pressing to get that done and to have a launch sometime soon. We're looking forward to the next race that is happening, which is in the end of July. It's the Ilanga Cup, so we are looking forward to that. Definitely, we're hoping that's still going to come through. But in the meantime, even if nothing happens until then, we are definitely going to test the car, and we're definitely going to let everybody know how it works. So we're not going to let anything stop us, even if the competitions get cancelled. We are going to still show what we have, and as you said, definitely look forward to the competition on the road and getting on the road and having that kind of that team spirit, because that is also something that we miss is being involved together and having that, getting together at a competition and just enjoying the vibe of it all. So definitely, yeah.
Fantastic. And dare I say, looking for a top 5 finish in September 22?
Definitely. Like I said, we're feeling very confident, and I think that confidence is going to carry us through, and we're definitely looking for a very, very good position with the next competition, definitely.
Fantastic, Thomas. Well, from myself, Rob, and the whole Sasol Solar Challenge team, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us. It's been great. And yeah, we'll chat to you soon, and I'm sure we'll see more from Northwest in the coming weeks.
We will definitely keep everybody up to date. Follow our Facebook pages and YouTube, and we'll definitely keep you guys updated. Looking forward. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. And also just a very thank you from the whole Solar Car team.
Awesome. Well, Thomas, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we will chat to you soon. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay.